This is Beds, Bars and Bites, the BizVision business podcast for tourism, hospitality, food and drink providers. Welcome to episode 2 of Beds, Bars and Bites, the business podcast for tourism and hospitality. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. So we leave 2019 behind, and many businesses will be glad of it. It was a hard year for lots of restaurants, especially as people watched their spending and cut back on treats and nights out. Brexit didn't help, with all the uncertainty and the staff ramifications. Hopefully we'll see some clarity from that soon, but don't expect uncertainty to go away just because it's a new decade. Uncertainty is the new norm. In the 2020s, your tourism or hospitality professionalism will continue to be needed to deliver excellence in product and service. But on top of that, operational excellence, you will have to extend your business and leadership ability and be better in areas such as team management, finance, sales and marketing. This podcast, Beds, Bars and Bites, as well as our Hospitality Plus channel at bizvision.co.uk and our Built to Welcome programme aims to help you in these key areas. So what's in this episode? In the Fresh Brew segment, which is about promotional ideas, I'm giving you ways to survive dry January. In the Fully Booked segment, I'm asking you if your signs give customers indigestion. In other words, are they you-oriented signs rather than customer-oriented? In Team Ignition, I'm bringing you up to date on what's happening with people turnover and how to get disengaged people back into being motivated. And finally, in my Frank Round the Table segment, I'm talking about you making more money and managing profit growth. So, on with the show. Welcome to Fresh Brew, bringing you promotional and marketing ideas. Every year, millions of people commit to a New Year's resolution, and over half of all resolutions are health-related. In recent years, Dry January has become a trendy New Year's resolution goal. So, what is Dry January? Well, it's the absence of drinking alcohol for the month of January. It started as a public health campaign in the UK in 2014, but now the bar, brewery and restaurant industry has felt its impact as many alcohol drinkers are staying home for their sober month. This means that the hospitality businesses, especially bars, have had to become innovative, creating new campaigns and strategies to make up for the loss in drinkers and in turn customers. So, courtesy of website Restaurant Insider, let me give you a selection of tips to help your bar survive Dry January. Number 1, have a mocktail menu. Many bars now have mocktails or fake cocktails on their menu, and they're a great strategy for combating the sober January for two main reasons. The non-alcoholic option. They give non-drinkers an option that isn't water or soda. Mocktails have exotic flavours, and for those looking for a substitute for the taste of alcohol, they're a great choice. Higher price item. Mocktails are also a pricier menu item, meaning more revenue for your bar. Okay, second tip, trivia nights. Trivia nights are known for driving traffic to bars, pubs and restaurants. Plus, they're a perfect strategy to bring customers in the door during their sober resolution month. You'll need to determine your business's bandwidth for hosting a trivia night, but Google for sources. Number 3, pop-up bar. Now, this is similar to a themed trivia night. Bars can create a pop-up bar experience to drive foot traffic to their business. Restaurant Insider says that Replay Lincoln Park, a Chicago arcade bar, routinely hosts hybrid pop-up restaurant and bar experiences, and some of its most popular pop-up experiences have been themed around Game of Thrones, The Office, Rick and Morty, Parks and Recreation. Now, while pop-ups do require a bit of planning and promotion, bars on average see a return of investment of around 30% higher during weekdays when hosting pop-ups, and it also drives word of mouth and good viral marketing. Okay, tip 4. Offer more food options. While customers may not venture out for drinking in January, they will still be looking for dinner nights out. If your bar doesn't offer dining experiences, you're missing out on these customers. So look for a variety of food options. Number 5, board games. Many bars today are packed with board games, which is a great strategy for keeping customers in the business for longer amounts of time. It's also a way to attract customers who aren't drinking. Branding a bar as a board game bar is a relatively cheap path for bars looking to drive traffic in these down months. The only upkeep you've got is making certain that your bar staff maintain the integrity and status of the physical games themselves, so no pieces are missing. Tip 6. Watch parties. With online streaming services, many TV viewers have stopped watching live TV. However, that's not the case with sporting events and things like reality shows. Bars can take advantage of this by hosting meetups and watch parties for shows that they identify as a good fit for your bar. Number 7, loyalty programs. Now, many bars already have customer loyalty programs. It sort of provides a nice touch point for bars to reach out to customers. And it gives customers a reason to have brand loyalty and keep coming back to the same bar. But instead of promoting your bar to new customers during January, look to target your most active current ones. You could promote a special drink for a night, or combine this strategy with one of the previous sober strategies to advertise your new mocktail, trivia night or food offering. And finally, number 8, promote a sober night. If you're really targeting those patrons who have committed to a dry January, then go all in and host a sober night. You could consider hosting the event on those slower days and times, such as a Monday or a Tuesday night. And that can really help you advertise and bring in new non-drinking crowd. But do remember, above all, January is just 1 month. It's key to remember that while dry January may slightly decrease your bar's revenue, do remember it's only 1 month, and February in 2020 is a leap year. Welcome to Fully Booked, helping you get more guests, visitors and customers. Do your signs give customers indigestion? I was at a 4-star hotel chatting with the area director, and I facetiously said I wasn't certain that I'd like to stay at his hotel. Surprised, he asked why, and I replied that I like to be treated as an adult, not a child. He now looked a little angry, so I thought I'd better come clean, and I explained that his signs gave me indigestion, and it took him to show some of them, the saying, "Don't do this, don't do that," etc. He then thanked me and said he walked past those every day and hadn't even noticed. Now, that story is not a one-off. I've seen it so many times in so many different places. Where are you saying "go away" to your customer? Where do you say welcome or thanks to your customer? Have you got too many signs and instructions that are you oriented instead of customer oriented? For example, if a sign says open, then it's you oriented. You know, open to take your money. If it says welcome, then it's customer oriented. So get a big welcome sign up. Have you walked around and looked at your signs and notices through the eyes of a customer? Ask your team to do the same, as often a non-welcoming sign can be missed. And don't forget to look at your signs outside. Okay, so we've covered signs that give indigestion. What about your marketing material? Is it welcoming or again you-oriented? All too often restaurants will have menus that are not informative, and the guest is reluctant to ask in case he or she looks a fool. Now, all of this you may dismiss as not appropriate, but next time you visit a competitor or a similar business to yours in another town, look at their signs and marketing material. Are they making any of those indigestion mistakes? I've done lots of mystery guest exercises over the year with lots of horror stories to tell, but in the end, it's often that someone is just not showing common sense. Okay, so let's look at the benefit of doing all of this. Quite simply, you will make more money as customers will feel more welcome. They'll understand more, which means they will spend more. They will enjoy themselves more, and so give you better TripAdvisor ratings. You're in the hospitality business, and that means welcome. Welcome to Team Ignition, helping you build and keep your dream team. Two-fifths, that's 40%, of UK businesses say they are in a constant battle with staff leaving. That's according to talent solutions provider Olio. It found that employees are struggling with high employee turnover and getting new hires up to speed. Almost half, that's 40%, of HR managers say they expect to lose a tenth of their workforce in any given year. Those surveyed said 14% of new hires leave within just 30 days, and 39% of new employees leave within 6 months of accepting a role. The scale of the problem's clear. In an age where HR teams are fighting myriad challenges in a bid to find people who are right for both their roles and the organisations, staff churn is a constant thorn. Research also found that it takes a significant amount of time to get new hires up to standard. Almost 3/4, 71%, of managers said that it takes a new starter 3 months or more to get fully up to speed, and 14% it said it takes between 9 months and a year. Wow. Almost half, 45%, believe that new employees live up to expectations less than 20% of the time. So having staff underperforming for such a significant period of time inevitably affects colleagues and the company's bottom line. An answer is, how can you help your people feel more engaged and also identify those who may be likely to succeed and stay within your business? Of course, good recruitment in the first place will help, but you also need a strategy to ensure that your team stays engaged, and those that become disengaged, they'll come back into the fold. Motivating members of your team who have become disengaged with the business, their jobs, their colleagues, even you and themselves, can be difficult, but it's possible if you know the right tactics and you put in the right time and effort. Let me give you 3 ways you can achieve that motivation. Number 1, listen and understand their complaints. If everything's going great, then it's unlikely they'll be disengaged. So it's much more likely they will feel wronged by something that's happened whilst they were at work. To have a chance of motivating them, you need not just to listen to their complaint, but to understand them. You may not agree with them, but recognizing their concerns and why they are demoralized is crucial. So, you may not be able to solve the problem, but they will feel much more positive if you've listened and understood. Number 2, talk about their performance and why it matters. It's quite normal for people to feel that they're just a small cog in a big machine, and that their performance doesn't matter to anyone. They may feel they can be easily replaced, and that the business only wants to get the most from each staff member. It's your job to make them feel valued in both the company and their team. Keep your focus on the positives and the part that they play in team dynamics. You can then move the conversation into how they could improve, and, this is vital, how you can help them get the most from their time in your business. And number 3, show them the bigger picture and set goals together. Quite rightly, in today's business world, if a team member feels undervalued or underpaid, they deserve to know the reasons behind it. Let them see the bigger picture, even the company's financial performance if you like, and give them reassurance that it is not about their performance. Then start to work with them to set the goals that are important to them. It could be that they want to work in a different part of the business, get more training or coaching. Do everything you can to help them reach their personal goal. So in reflection, do you have any team members who are disengaged? If so, what are you going to do about it? Welcome to the Business Kitchen, where perfect businesses are created. Welcome to the Business Kitchen, handling complaints. No matter how perfect you try to be in your business, you'll likely encounter a complaint at some time or another. Badly managed, a complaint can damage your reputation and revenue. But well managed, a complaint can be turned into a customer for life. That's why it's well worth taking time to train yourself and your people in how to handle complaints. So here's the process. First of all, apologize. Now, you may say to me, what if the customer's wrong and the complaint was unfair? And anyways, we're not admitting guilt by apologizing. What I'm saying is, apologize that they've had to express dissatisfaction. For example, I'm sorry you've had cause to complain today. That's not admitting they were right, but it is soothing. Next stage is to show sympathy with the customer. Now, this is best done with your attitude and facial expression. So no smirking, no laughing, but rather a concerned look. Third step is to listen to the complaint and listen attentively from their viewpoint. Do remember, often complainers just want someone to listen to. That's all. Fourth stage is to establish the facts. All too often complainers want to bring in others. They say, and the people on that other table weren't happy as well. It's nothing to do with the people on that other table. Bring them back to their complaint. Stage 5 is to agree what you will do. You don't need to give the business away here. Often a token offer will satisfy them. The majority of times, complainers are not wanting anything, they just want to be listened to. Stage 6 is to do what you agreed to do. It's a big failing by many managers. They agree to do something and then fail to do it. Now, there's a stage 7, and that is to tell the customer that you've done it. This is an important stage, as in many cases, you can then convert them to being a loyal customer. They now have a story to tell, which goes something like that. Well, I had a problem with my meal, but the manager sorted it, and in the end, I enjoyed it, and I'll be going back. It really is a simple approach, and it works. But all too often businesses tie themselves down with complications, bureaucracy, and forms to fill in, and many other obstacles created by people who've never been customer facing. Don't allow that. Manage complaints efficiently, and you can create customers for life. Welcome to Round the Table. It's to the point talking with Malcolm Gallagher. Welcome to our Round the Table chat. How much profit should you expect to make? In my Make More Money workshops, the key thing attendees want to know is, how much money should I be making? A well-run restaurant or cafe makes between 5% and 8% profit. And whilst every restaurant is different, the costs are roughly as follows. Food 30%, labour 25%, rent and rates 14%, insurance and legal 5%, bank repayments and charges 5%, marketing 3%, maintenance 3%, utilities, that's gas, electricity, water 3%, disposables and crockery 3%, waste 1%, leaving profit 8%. If you'd like those numbers emailed to you, then please contact me, mg@bizvision.co.uk. That's mg@bizvision.co.uk, and in the subject matter just put restaurant costs, and I'll send you that complete list. Now, all too often though, business owners don't monitor the costs and don't take heed of ratios. They may look at some simple costs, but it's a little bit more than that you'll need to do from 2020 onwards. Here's the 3 key ones that I talk about with tourism and hospitality businesses: gross profit, quick ratio, average customer sale. Gross profit. You calculate this by dividing the gross profit by the sales. Now, the results can indicate all sorts of issues. It should remain static, but if it drops, it can mean supplier costs have increased and you haven't responded in kind with price increases. Misappropriation of merchandise either by staff or suppliers, or unauthorized discounts, misappropriation of cash revenue and free handouts. So that's the importance of the gross profit ratio. Second ratio, quick ratio. You do this by calculating, dividing the current assets that can be converted into cash quickly by the current liabilities. That's debts due for payments in the short term. What it does, it measures the ability of the small business to pay its bills as they fall due. For us here at BizVision, cash flow is the most important metric to manage in our small business. So we add a perpetual 13-week cash flow forecast to our quick ratio report to ensure that this issue is properly managed and any risks or problems mitigated early. And the third ratio is called average customer sale. You calculate this by dividing the sales by the number of customers. Now, many miss this as it's a good opportunity with the ratio for cross-selling, selling and upselling. But again, I see lots of pubs and restaurants that don't know the number of the customers. They may know the number of the tickets, but not the amount of customers. If you measure the average customer sales, you may become aware of how to make that extra associated sale. For example, drinks with food. And above all, the average customer sale ratio is the easiest way to improve your bottom line. So, will you make every effort to start using these 3 ratios in 2020? If you need any extra information or the details on the ratios, then again, please email me mg@bizvision.co.uk, mg@bizvision.co.uk. We've reached the end of this episode of Beds, Bars and Bites. Don't forget you can get more free support at bizvision.co.uk. That's bizvision.co.uk. Sign up for my free library, see the Hospitality Plus TV channel and the Built to Welcome programme. That's bizvision.co.uk. Join me for next week's episode of Beds, Bars and Bites. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beds, Bars and Bites, the business podcast for tourism and hospitality.